Hello, I'm Scott. I'm the breathing guy. I'll train you to locate, generate, activate core key energy in physical activity. The activity this video deals with is swimming, and I'm going to deal with breathing, torso breathing. So many people talked about lung breathing in all these videos. Don't go there. Lung breathing is too limited. Torso breathing is what you want to engage. And when I define torso, I'm talking about from up here all the way down to here. This area here. And the more you can expand the torso and contract the torso, it gives you the greatest breath range, the greatest energy range, and the greatest strength. And I'm going to go into conditioning. This is the second video. It's going to start synthesizing, because the first thing you have to do is learn to feel. In other words, you're going to breathe a certain way of pushing your belly button out and down. And then as your belly button goes out, the glutes come up and the shoulders come down. And as the belly button comes in to exhale, and then you're going to pull a little bit in belly button in to even squeeze more air out, and the glutes go down and the shoulders go down. And shoulders actually go a little forward, so it compresses the lungs this way for more air process involved. And how you shape the three chambers, which are lower core, upper core, and chest, it affects your breathing range, your strength, and your energy. And the idea of chest breathing really limits breathing. The other idea, there is no right way to breathe. There's only effective breathing, because everyone has different breathing range and ability and training involved. We may all breathe, but how we breathe is always different and involved. And how artful can you make it within the sport or physical activity? Example, just you have speakers. A great singer has great, if you want to say, breathing ability to be that way, versus a person that can't sing very well. They can carry a note, but they have to take so many breaths in between a note. So breathing is an art, irrelevant to what you, for purpose. I have a saying: the way you breathe, you have learned for your emotional, physical reality within a given purpose. That is learning to breathe for your swimming stroke. If it's a freestyle stroke and a backstroke, will be different. And I'll explain. So this video is about making your mind aware of how you're using your torso to expand and contract and all the different sensations for breathing, and not engage the shoulders, not tighten the shoulders, not create a stranglehold. When you do lung breathing, you almost like tighten this up here and you deny every here. It makes you weak. Doing at least diaphragm breathing, you can engage more. Doing lower core breathing, for maximum breathing range, it's always lower core, diaphragm, upper core, and chest. Then when you exhale, it's chest, diaphragm, and then lower core. That's using your whole torso. But it's sometimes, because of the physical activity, you only use your diaphragm and your chest, but not the lower core for a breathing effect. I'll explain that. But in the beginning, we want to engage the whole torso with soft shoulders, soft chest, and soft jaw. And how do you do that? Is you inhale through the nose, which gives you maximum, push the belly button out, pull the glutes up, and then pause. As you're pausing, let your shoulders drop. Direct your mind. Let your mind become aware of your shoulders, of your chest, and then soften, soften. When you soften shoulders, you can soften hips. Soften hips, you can soften the body. That's the process involved. Then you have more range of ability. And exhale. And you exhale at the mouth like you're blowing over tea, blowing over coffee to cool it down, playing an instrument. Bring your lips forward, or you're smoking. You go, and as you're going very slowly, you keep slight tension here, and you pull your belly button in. And then when you get to a point, then you have to pull it really in. When you pull it really in, it's going to tighten this muscle here because you're pushing down. When you pull the belly button in, you pull it at a 45-degree out. When you push the belly button out, you go out 45. Become aware, these are the activating three. Now, This is a process. So lay on the floor. The goal is a 20-second exhale and a fast inhale, but I'll just deal with the 20-second exhale. The inhales, there's a whole process there to develop to increase your inhale, especially singers need that. But anyway, I just want you to become aware of your body and soften shoulders and not use the shoulders, this area up here, for the physical activity of breathing, especially in swimming. You want to use this activity. Here's the rule. If you don't use this, you're going to use this as your main source for your force in your swimming stroke or any physical activity, which inherently, tight shoulders strangles your energy and your breath. When you have tight shoulders here, you're gonna you always feel like, I don't have enough breath. In reality, your mind's going to this point and you don't. But your whole torso is what you do is your breathing apparatus. It's like a bellows. You have a whole torso, and learning how to engage that, it takes some time and focus to alter. Then you apply it. So having a 20-second exhale while you're laying flat on the floor with your back straight, in bed, or sitting in a chair is the beginning. Walking where you inhale on 3 or 4 breath, 5, pause on 3, exhale for the next 20 steps, 20 seconds, then pause on 4 or 5 steps. Then re-engage. There's a whole process that I have for a walking video. So engaging, get that sense down. But now, at another point, I want you to inhale, push your stomach, you're laying on the floor or bed, push out. Then I want you, when you push it out, watch your shoulder, drop your shoulder, then squeeze. Push it out this way and pull your cheeks together and squeeze it. And as you're squeezing the cheeks, soften your shoulders, make them softer, make them very soft and fluid. Your hands can even start shaking you. Then release them, exhale, and out the mouth. Pause. Now inhale. You can exhale even faster, but the goal is exhale in 10 seconds. You're going to build up to it. You can't do 20 seconds without, you're going to strangle yourself. You're going to feel like when you're truly soft, you can exhale and pause for a long time. You won't believe you can be empty and be in a pause state and not feel like you're starving. Because your mind isn't, if you want to say, burning up a lot of force. You're not tightening the shoulders up. Creating that energy flow, keeping it flow is the name of the game. And so coming aware of not using your shoulders, but using the glutes is the first range. 2, pushing your belly button out and down at a 45 with your hips tilted so it's flat in the beginning. Pause, squeeze your glutes together a little bit. As you squeeze your glutes, stop, drop your shoulders, squeeze a little tighter again. Now exhale with the soft shoulders and keeping tension here and blow out your mouth. Do that about 10, 15, whatever times you need. And on every exhale, focus on the shoulders coming up. Then you exhale at the nose. Do the same thing. Inhale, push your belly button out, pull up on the glutes, soften shoulders, squeeze the glutes a little tighter, soft, and then you exhale at the nose. As you're pulling your belly button in, pushing your glutes down and letting the shoulders soft. You're developing a whole new mind imprinting sensation of your upper body not being engaged, not being tight, but your glutes are coming conditioned. And most people's glutes are, how can I say, atrophied, or not tight, or warm, or engaged that well. Swimmers that are good young, usually it's natural involved, and you have to do that if you have any breath range, one way or the other, and it's engaged. 2 is this moving here, but by moving this, the benefit of swimming and moving this and exhaling, pulling it, it will tone this muscle. Anyone, like some females I try to teach this, and they push your stomach, oh no, believe me, it's only out for a second, but it's pulling in a lot longer, and the toning to make your stomach flat will come into play. Because otherwise, and having the hips tilted forward so you can do that, you'll actually look 5 pounds thinner. So many times that people will walk around, male, female, will have an arch, and women, when you have an arch, it throws this out, and you're actually going forward, and it makes this look bigger than it is. But if you tip your hips and stand straight, it looks flatter. So understanding the hips are the key to if you want to engage the lower core. Now, in freestyle, you watch most freestyle, the back is there, and you have an arch. So you're going to engage the diaphragm and the chest, but not so much down here. You got to still use this to some degree, but that's why legs are weaker. Unless you can swim flat. That's a whole nother game with your hips flat. If you strive for that, then you can use the lower core. You have to use the lower core to keep the hips in place while you're swimming. When you're doing the backstroke, you tilt like this in your back and you swing. You can breathe down here more, and you tone all three chambers. That is a beautiful goal with soft shoulders while you're doing backswing. And you tone your hands in my style. The way I teach the backstroke, you tone your hands and your feet in the backstroke with all three chambers engaged in a long exhale. And you're basically flowing. It's a very flow style. And the form I advocate for breathing is very efficient in the back style, even in freestyle. I don't agree with how all these people have their hands. Yeah, I have a video on freestyle if you want, but watch the hands and how to engage them. But right now, the idea, there is no right way to breathe. There's only an effective way to breathe, giving on your swimming stroke. The torso breathing is what you're striving for, not lung breathing. That's different. And torso breathing engages the glutes, squeeze the chin, and soft shoulders. 3, you never want a feeling of strangle through your chest involved. You want the soft and flat. The better you can get down here, softer is by making this more engaged, feeling this area. And it's all about the mind having imprint and the mind directing what do you want soft, what do you want strong, and then be aware of your breathing. Be aware of the breath, how it's coming in, how it's leaving, and use the energy effect of the act of breathing in your performance of swimming. If you want meditative swimming, which I highly advocate the way I teach it. For competitive swimming or just active swimming where you just want to move your torso and your body in the act of swimming. But conditioning down requires you to lay practice, and the ideal goal of 10-second exhale, 20-second exhale, 15, do it progressive. You can't do, and all the time softening up here and then walking the same way. I have a walking class on 20-second exhales and how to soften up here and use your hands. These are all energy concepts that comes from Qigong, Qigong. And if you go to YouTube, type in Qigong Masters, and you can see what they can do based on their core breathing and physical activity. This is Scott, the breathing guy. This is swimming and how to engage the torso as a bellows effect in your swimming, not the lungs alone. Breathing is an art, and you don't just breathe right, you breathe effectively for your swimming stroke and purpose.